What's going on, people? This is the Coastal Noise Podcast. A few comments before we start the show. If you want to hear more podcasts, you can go to coastalnoise.com, go to the podcast page. We have all our episodes there with the show notes of what we talked about. You can stream it live, or you can download it onto your smartphone, your computer. You can put it on your MP3 player from there, whatever you want to do. You can also go to our new YouTube channel, and we've uploaded a few of the shows, maybe a handful that you can go and check out, some of the more recent highlighted ones. And also be sure to subscribe to the page. It's a great way to support the show. You can also go to our new Facebook page, like or share anything that we post. Another great way to support the show. I'm still working on getting on our store front up and running for the Coastal Noise t-shirts that we just printed, which you can see pics of on the website. I've been pretty busy and haven't gotten all the details arranged just yet, but if you'd like to pre-order a shirt, you can email coastal.noise@yahoo.com, and when the storefront goes live, we will hold your order for you, send you a link to confirm size and payment, and then ship it off to you. This episode of the Coastal Noise Podcast is our New Year podcast. We recorded it 1 year later from our very first podcast episode. And that episode, like this one, is with Daniel, Mark, and Jeff Bush. And we've had a lot of fun in this first year, and it's given me the chance to sit down and talk with a lot of interesting people. Musicians, entrepreneurs, a politician, stand-up comics, and a random guy on an airplane who was an architect from Colorado. All in a very short time. And of course, most of these conversations, along with what we talked about, are still up on the podcast page. Looking back, they were all a good time in their own way. But if I had to recommend my top picks, the first ones that come to mind are two that were done with friends. One episode where we really went deep into the realm of imagination and social analysis was episode number 6, again a grassroots episode with Daniel and Jeff, in which we talked time zones and toe shoes, racism, indigenous and otherworldly invasions. We talked about this island off the coast of India that was discovered to have an uncontacted indigenous tribe, and there were all these social debates on what should be done with them, if they should just be left alone, or if intervention should be called for. Through science and history, we know that outside contact can kill entire civilizations just by the transference of germs. From that conversation, we considered what it would be like if outside entities came from outer space and put us under the same microscope. Another noteworthy episode is episode 13 with Jacob Scrimeti and Daniel Mark, which, in my opinion, wins the award for the funniest and overall just the most fun that we had during the recording of a show. Jacob, like myself, holds a degree in psychology, and we talked about the mind towards the end of the show, but before that, our conversation was just one laugh after another, talking about new military cow robots, Dragonheart, a Chinaman who gets his nose grown on his forehead, Sudan's government shutting down the internet at the time, Bill Gates on nuclear power, and much, much more. The episode also wins the award for the best picture. There are many more I could recommend, but for the sake of time, I would like to direct you to our last show that we did, if you didn't catch it already, in which me and Jeff and Daniel went to the Capitol and met Senator Josh Harkins and Ashley Dervale at the Supreme Court chamber and discussed the struggles that Ashley's daughter Harper Grace faces with Dravet syndrome, which is a severe form of epilepsy, and how the senator led the way in creating the bill that passed through Congress to allow for Mississippi patients to receive cannabidiol, which is an extract that comes from the cannabis plant. We talk about Ole Miss growing the medicine, the education process behind it, the politics, Dr. Sanjay Gupta's CNN documentary Weed, which was a huge influence on this whole topic, and where Mississippi stands with the future of cannabis-based medicines. You can find all these episodes on the podcast page at coastalnoise.com. Be sure to join us back later this weekend when we record another episode with Chase Taylor and Nick Quave for the grand opening of the Crest Live Entertainment venue. And you're going to want to hear this episode because we may be getting some Crest Live tickets that you, the listeners, can score by tuning in. So more on that to come. For now, we hope you enjoy this episode and the first one of the new year. Thank you so much for being with us this far, and here's to many more great conversations to come. Enjoy.
into it, and I've never found a reasonable explanation. But why is it? I mean, I guess there are reasonable explanations. But why is it that places near the water tend to be more liberal, or I guess you could even go so far as saying enlightened?
Ports. I think it's ports.
Is it? I mean, that is the simplest answer. It makes sense because life originated near water, and if humans, of course, need water.
Yeah, man. You got a port. You have foreign people coming in, bringing their culture, and to work well with them, you have to fucking That's the most logical answer I can think of. I mean, us especially.
But I don't know if that's proven that.
We have a huge Air Force base.
Yeah.
With all kinds of people from all over the place. So that's one thing with us. As well as...
This is something I need to do more research in, is if it's proven that coastal areas around the country are more liberal or more quote-unquote educated or whatever, or maybe more affluent. I'd like to say they are, especially in Mississippi. I know they are in Mississippi.
Dude,
when you compare the coast to the Delta, or not bashing those parts of the state, they are how they are, and that's fine, but just saying, we're different. And that's also something I found. It's called my whole mentality is called coastal elitism.
Is it?
People who live on coastal areas tend to think they're better or more important or more elite than more inland folk.
I think I'm an egotist. I just feel that way because of me and not where I live. No, I like living next to water.
He does. But I'm sure you probably got called this when you were in Starkville, or
Not
never
once.
been called coast
Never.
trash?
Nope.
I've heard it.
You see these arms? Call me that. See what happens. Boom. Boom. Flexing for all the listeners.
In the coastal noise tee.
I think it's because those people, though, from North Mississippi or just further away from the coast, they think that their perception of us is that we're snobbish. And my response to that is, well, I'm not snobbish. The coast is just better.
Right, which is snobbish.
These are facts.
That's the most snobbish answer you can give. That's why. Every time I've had this argument, it's like, yeah, they don't like us because of our attitude, because we think we're better. And then everyone from the coast goes, yeah, but we are better. Like, yeah, that's what the fuck the problem is.
I don't know. That's why I want to take a trip up the Blues Highway this summer, which we need to talk a little bit more about. I know we talked about it the other day, but Blues Highway starting in New Orleans, going through Baton Rouge. I think it goes through Natchez, crosses over into Mississippi, goes to where's Morgan Freeman from?
I don't know.
Can never remember the name of this town.
Clarksdale.
Clarksdale, thank you. Clarksdale, then Memphis. Then it goes up to fucking Minnesota, but I don't want to go that far.
Way up there. Maybe one day.
Or maybe even St. Louis. I think it goes through St. Louis. St. Louis would be a cool place to see.
I think we drove through there once. The arches. Isn't that the arch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's right by the interstate, right?
Yeah, you don't even have to get off. You just go by it. We didn't go under it. Can you go through it?
Can you go through the arch?
Is it like over a road? Or is it just...
No, I don't think so. But you can go up in it, from what I've heard, which seems weird. I don't know how an elevator goes on that arc.
I don't know. Maybe it's
or
a
how far you can
staircase.
go. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows?
I don't have interest in
Never been.
going to the top of arcs.
My roommate dated a girl from St. Louis.
Yeah?
In college.
Oh, was she a nice lady?
She was nice. She was fun.
I met this girl from St. Louis. She went to Oxford. She was hot.
Apparently a lot of people from St. Louis go to Ole Miss. Because it's really not that far. It's like probably 3 hours.
Her name was Lexi, and they called her Sexy Lexi. And her sister name was Tori.
Hori?
And they called her Hori Tori.
Those are not the daughters I want.
They set themselves up for that. You got to check out all the rhymes, all the nicknames that can happen. Here's the thing. Hori Tori wasn't even a whore. Sexy Lexi was kind of sexy.
We all heard about the suspended animation trials that they just started?
No, I have not.
Like a group of people.
I don't know what that means.
Suspended animation, like when you see in sci-fi movies where they get on the space station, they're like, "Oh, we're going to send you 100 years in that direction, so you don't die, so you don't age. We're going to put you in suspended animation." They get in the little vessels that look like isolation tanks, and they go to sleep for years, and then they wake up when the timer goes off. You know what I'm saying?
I get it, but this is for real?
Yes, people are doing it right now.
Keyword was trial.
Just like an Austin Powers kind of thing, like cryogenically freezing and then waking up 50 years later.
Mm-hmm. Or like Han Solo in Star Wars.
Okay, yeah.
That kind of thing.
Huh.
Yep. They're, according to a new report
I don't want to be a volunteer.
In the New Scientist, researchers at the UPMC Presbyterian Hospital in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, are set to perform the first ever human clinical trials utilizing suspended animation later this month. Surgeons involved in the research will perform life-saving surgery on 10 critically wounded patients who will have been drastically cooled down to the point where their bodily functions have almost ceased. Just imagine coming into an ER and like about to be on the verge of death, and they don't have what you need to like help you.
So they
freeze
your body and
then
say, hopefully we figure it out later.
Well, no,
it's not prolonged periods of time.
Oh, they freeze you and ship you somewhere where they...
Few hours, maybe?
No, I was under the impression they were going to go as long as they can.
Yeah.
But, but if they, in the hospital example I just gave, like, they could, if they didn't have what you needed, they could ship you, like, freeze you, and then ship you over to a hospital in another state that does have it.
Ah, okay. So it could be short-term use.
Either or.
Or long-term use.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about, like, 50 years here. We're just... few days at the most for now.
For baby steps.
So potentially maybe if, say I have cancer and I go to a hospital and they don't have, obviously we don't have the cure for cancer here in 2014, but I've got the money, I've got the bankroll to say I want to freeze myself for however many years it takes for you guys to figure out the cure to cancer. Can I do that? Is that
depends on how deep your
an option?
How deep do your pockets go?
Stacks and stacks and stacks, baby.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's the issue of like when you have people on life support and the insurance. I mean, does insurance factor into how long you stay cryogenically frozen?
Yeah, this is completely hypothetical.
Right.
Could it happen?
Hypothetically, yes, it could probably.
But I don't know if I would want to do that. Wake up 50 years later and everything has changed. My family is probably dead. Society has changed, which this is kind of a tangent to this, and we don't have to get into this deeply now, but it's on the topic of prisoners. And so prisoners, say you have a prisoner serving like a 15, 20-year sentence. He does his time, comes back out, which I saw this on Facebook the other day. George Young, guy from Blow, was released this year.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So anyway, take a guy like him, serves whatever, 15, 20 years. He gets back out in the real world. And this is kind of a knock of our prison system, but I don't have a better idea. But he gets back out in the real world, and he has no 21st century skills.
Yeah.
He has been stuck sitting in a cell, wasting his life away for 20 years, 20-some-odd years. Gets back out. The world has completely changed. I mean, we're still going about our daily lives while they're stuck in jail. So what are these prisoners, what are their options? There's, I couldn't tell you the exact number, and I couldn't cite my source here, but I have seen it before, and I've heard it before. It's like a 50% chance, pretty much, that a criminal will commit a new crime after he is released from jail and returned back to prison.
You don't know what else to do, so they start committing more crimes.
So they
kill themselves.
They go back to the one thing they know.
Yeah,
it's like the scene from the Shawshank Redemption where the old man does kill himself. He, he finds out he's going to be released. He's been in prison for a long time, not his whole life, but a long time. What has become his life?
And he didn't know how to.
Yeah, he tries to hold one of his own friends at knife point, so they'll send him back. And his, Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Second shout out. He talks him down, and then he gets out and he writes that long letter to him. Like, everything is in a big damn hurry. They have these things called cars that I saw one or two when I was a kid, but now they're everywhere. and it shows him like just trying to cross a street and like almost getting hit, and he's working at the grocery store, and he asks the manager like, "Can I go to the bathroom?" And the manager says, "Look, you don't have to ask me every time you need to go take a piss."
He's
just not used to it. Yeah.
So, like, what are we doing with our prisoners while they're in? I mean,
are we reforming or recommitting?
No, they're just literally serving time. And as soon as they're released, the state is saying that this is a rehabilitated man or woman, I guess. Mm-hmm. This is a rehabilitated person, and they are fit for the real world again. Here you go, off on your own. When that's not true at all. They are not rehabilitated. They have no skills. So
I went in and SeaWorld was awesome. I came out, and everybody hates SeaWorld. I don't understand.
I don't want to live in this world anymore.
So the reason one thing that where this kind of comes from, the governor of New York recently, this was a few months ago, and I'm pretty sure this whole idea got shot down, but he wanted to...
Small sodas. Nothing.
No. Same guy. Wait. No, that was the mayor of New York. This is the governor of New York State.
Okay. Sorry, I interrupted.
It's okay. Anyway, he had a idea of educating prisoners, giving them like college classes while they're in prison, using state dollars, using tax dollars collected from the tax-paying citizens to pay for college courses, pay for professors to come and teach at the prisons. And he did his math or whatever and said that there's a 50% chance of a prisoner returning back to prison. So this is how much money we spend on prisoners. And it's something ridiculous, like $60,000 per prisoner. Which, side note, the state of Mississippi spends about $30,000 per prisoner, and we spend about $11,000 per student. But then we also have more students than prisoners, but still, it just doesn't equal out. Anyway, back to New York. So he's saying we spend $60,000 on a prisoner. So say he serves 10 years. That's $600,000. He gets released, commits a new crime because he has no skills, comes right back to one of our cells for another 10 years. That's $600,000 again. And that's $1.2 million on one man for 20 years of his life. Whereas we could cut that in half. Am I right? 600,000? Yeah. We could cut that in half. And after he serves his first sentence of 10 years, that's $600,000, he's released, and he never comes back because he's now educated and he has options. He can go out and get a job and do something with his life rather than resort back to a life crime. So in theory, this is a brilliant idea. But in practicality, how many of these prisoners will actually take the classes seriously? Who's to say that they won't resort back to a life of crime as soon as they're back out with their cohorts? Whatever. There's so many different variables that go into it. And I'm pretty sure that's why it got shot down.
Well, then a bunch of people probably think like prisoners should be rewarded.
Yeah, and
with a college education.
Right. A huge complaint of it was all these middle class families have a household income of $150,000 a year between two parents, and they're struggling to send their kids to college, and they haven't broken any laws.
Right.
So why should a murderer or a drug dealer be getting a free college education when my kids can't get a free college education?
Why don't they just teach them like trades, like carpentry,
and
or something like that?
That's something that they have done in the past, but
and
wherever I read
sell
this
stuff.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Angola does that, but Angola is a private prison. Angola has a rodeo every year.
I don't think I knew that.
You did?
No, I don't think I did.
They have a rodeo every year where prisoners ride bulls and do all sorts of shit.
You want to go to it?
Rope cattle. I know people that went in college, and they said it was like so much fun. It probably is. But anyway, they sell all sorts of trinkets. My roommate had a license plate ashtray. That was pretty cool. It was a Louisiana State license plate made into an ashtray. So they make all sorts of stuff like that.
I feel like
they also have a golf course at this prison.
A golf course?
Golf course.
For the prisoners or just...
No, for the public. But the prisoners maintain the golf course.
Right, okay.
And it's a for-profit golf course.
That's cool,
It's a for-profit prison.
I don't know. Let's go. Let's go play some golf.
I think it's in the summer sometime. I'll have to look it up. Or go to their golf course.
Do they let shitty people play? I've never played golf before.
I'm sure they do if you have money. That's what it's all about.
I don't have that.
Your dollars look the same as my dollars.
Yeah, there's just less of them.
Yeah, or Tiger Woods dollars.
The suspended animation process, going back to that, the process.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. We segued perfectly. Coming back to it, the procedure involves replacing a patient's entire blood supply with cold saline solution, which essentially induces hypothermia and slows down all cellular activity. This gives the surgeon more time to operate on individuals who have extreme life-threatening injuries. And then once the wounds are repaired, they gradually warm the patients back up by slowly replacing the saline with blood.
Sounds exactly like Austin Powers.
Yep.
I'm for it.
Yeah. I'm trying to see...
I wouldn't want to do it, but I'm for the experimentation.
Did they try this on animals first?
Actually, they tried it on pigs in the year 2000, and now they are prepared to try the procedure on humans. The researchers believe that if their experiments work, the definition of the word dead will change. That is a heavy word to change.
Say that now.
That word has literally not changed yet.
The definition of dead will change. Is that what you said?
That is what they think. I mean, that it's a good marketing.
We'll just add a new
ploy,
definition to dead, like a sub definition. Like one.
Every day at work, I declare people dead. Ray said.
What would be the first definition of dead? What do you think it is?
To cease to exist.
The
extinction of life, the exhaustion of the soul. I don't know.
If you want to get like scientific, like on a cellular level, when the cells stop producing, is it ADP, whatever they produce?
Adenosine triphosphate. Wait, that's ADT. I don't know.
Whatever cells produce.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they stop doing that.
That's energy, right, for cells, ADP.
Yeah, that stuff.
Or is it ATP?
ATP, ADP, I don't know. ATP.
Whatever.
It's been about 6 years. I don't know.
Have y'all ever heard of the Knights of the Golden Circle?
No. Is that like a church thing? Video game thing?
Man, it could be. I recently met somebody who said, National Treasure, the movie with Nicolas Cage.
Of course.
It's a secret organization, secret society, basically.
Right.
Think Illuminati, but, probably more realistic.
Freemasons?
Yes,
Like
exactly. I met a person recently who said for 6 years they've been hunting down this organization, following cues, and there's stuff all around cache sites that if you know where the signs are and if you possess certain items that give you indicators to where other things are located. And he's been doing that. He's said he's found some gold medallions and some silver bullets for wolves down at Wolf River. He says it was a big thing around here. The Knights of the Golden Circle were a pro-slavery secret society in the mid-19th century in the U.S. The original objective of KGC was to annex a golden circle of territories in Mexico, which would be divided into 25 slave states, Central America, Northern South America, and Cuba, and the rest of the Caribbean for inclusion in the U.S. as slave states.
Wow. Could you imagine if that happened?
I know.
If Mexico is just a slave country, which, wouldn't be much different than what it is today.
As anti-slavery agitation increased after the Dred Scott decision was issued, the members proposed a separate confederation of slave states, with the U.S. states south of the Mason-Dixon line to secede and to align with other slave states to be formed from the Golden Circle.
That's a lot of dedication to make someone else do your chores.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell. Oh, y'all's phones, Jeff. Yeah,
it's getting worse.
For sure, that is a bad idea.
Okay.
But, we can find our own stuff and go.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go on a treasure hunt, guys. I'm all for taking money away from
'Cause
pro-slave people.
There was remember that one time we tried to go cache hunting or whatever it was?
Geocaching.
Geocaching, yeah. And we ended up, we just came out of a bar. We were at, we were down at a bar somewhere, and we got in the car to go somewhere, and we went to the nearest one was like a baseball field or something like that. I think, Daniel, you went out to check it out, and then we were like,
Well, yeah, nobody would get out with me, so I just took a pee and got back in the car.
I didn't want to get out of the car.
You shouldn't geocache at night after drinking, I've learned. I've gotten quite a few cuts on my legs and hands from doing it. walking through shrubs and stuff, and then not finding anything.
Yeah, I kind of figured, like, if everybody knows where the sites are, doesn't that mean that, like, they get taken up? I mean,
yeah,
well, unless people leave them.
It's an honor system.
Right.
You can find plenty of them sitting around. There's probably some around.
I guess
here.
so many get made too on like a certain basis, pretty regular basis.
You can you check in whenever you find it, and so I guess the last person to find it, if they took it, the next person would find out that it's gone. I don't know. It's kind of cool. Things are hidden all around us. That kind of whole deal. You want me to flip it on and see if there's any stuff next to us? There are
conversations full of vague references.
Ooh, there's one right there. That was very vague.
Down the street and to the left.
Kinda. I guess depends which way you're facing. This one is called Carnival. It's difficulty 1, and it's extra small. Those are the boring ones. You want the big ones.
Big things come in small packages, or what is that saying?
Probably just like a penny and a spring.
Yeah, it'd be boring.
I put a spring in one once. It's the only thing I had in my pocket.
Have y'all, speaking of the Knights of the Golden Circle thing, there's this there's some sort of conspiracy that, or I don't want to use that word. There's some sort of idea, a theory about that, that there in New York there's a Mason sewer system that apparently the Masons constructed a long time ago, and it contains some sort of transatlantic tunnel that goes all the way to Europe.
What?
That was built like during the age of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table.
What?
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe the second part.
Yeah, when it was built, maybe not.
I don't know if I believe any of it personally.
There's probably some sort of underground sewage system. I mean, that's what the subways are. Sure, there's probably something out there that nobody really knows about that was once used for Masonic purposes. Or during Prohibition. Stuff like that. I'm sure there's got to be something like that.
Transporting booze.
Yeah.
Across the Atlantic?
But no, not across the Atlantic. Just in New York City is what I was thinking.
Okay, yeah, that's believable.
Yeah.
Across the Atlantic, not so much. King Arthur built it? Definitely no.
Yeah, supposedly it's supposed to be from London to New York City.
No.
Jeff, you're going to London?
I am I'll be there. I'm leaving for Paris in a week from yesterday.
Can I get it with a French girl?
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Be fun.
Que sera, sera. I can tell her that.
Yeah, you could tell her that. I'm sure she's heard it before.
Probably, but I can impress her with my English accent, my American accent.
You got to give her a full dose of America. Hit her with that. Get her done.
Drop some y'all.
Yeah, you got to... Cowboy, chief. Call everyone in Europe chief. Or I don't know other American phrases. What are some?
I'm trying to think right now. Probably everything we say. Can't think of any.
No, I typically don't rely on phrases when I speak.
They're pretty easy go-tos.
Yeah, if you got nothing important to say and just want to spew bullshit all the time.
Or if you really don't care about the person you're talking to.
Yeah, that too. I just say nothing sentences all day. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. I don't know what they mean. I don't give a shit either. I'm not going to even try to know what they mean.
Hey, how's it going? How you doing?
Hey,
what's going on?
What's going on? How you
There's so
doing?
many variations of that question. Nobody ever answers it. I've noticed that.
Are they just like a simple good?
Yeah.
Because nobody really would. I would love for one day someone to really get into it.
Well, since you asked, things are pretty shitty.
I'd probably have to be in a good mood. Otherwise, I'm like, no, I'm not having any of this shit right now.
Look, I don't care. I didn't even mean to say that. Hello is all I wanted to say.
Right. Yeah, I acknowledged you existed as a person, and now I regret that.
But yeah, London. I'll be there on the 28th to the 3rd.
I'm gonna go see Big Ben,
of course. I'm going with my mom and sister, so it's gonna be mainly touristy stuff.
Bars,
no
castle.
That's what I want to do. Hopefully they'll either go with me or let me go out alone.
Grown ass man. Do what you want.
I'm an American.
Yeah.
No, ain't no
Don't
European gonna mess with me.
Don't get hostile. Should be cool, man. Should really embellish your southern accent when you're over there. Just do a Matthew McConaughey impersonation the whole time. All
right. Just say that. That's an American saying right there.
Sure.
I don't know. I really want to. Oh, I saw this a while ago. This was the cast of Harry Potter doing American accents. It was pretty funny.
Any good?
No, it was all terrible. But it was funny to hear their go-to sayings, like for an American person. Like if you were to do an impersonation of a British person, what would you say?
Nope. I don't want to do it.
Hello, governor, or hello, mate. How are you? Would you like to have some tea and crumpet?
No, that's awful.
I know it's awful, but that's the sayings that people go to.
What they say?
I can't remember.
Supersize it.
Yeah.
Add bacon. Hell yeah, I want cheese.
So yeah, there's your American sayings right there.
Yeah, ask them to supersize stuff for you over there. See how that rolls. They don't even do that here anymore.
Yeah, no.
Would you like a slightly bigger than normal size? I guess we could, maybe poke the edges out a bit.
There's a part in
Give it a good stuffing, yeah.
In Super Size Me, he interviews some French lady, and she says, "I can't eat anything here. The McDonald's size small is our size large, or grande, whatever the fuck they call it."
Not grande, probably.
Probably not. Grand, I think.
It's a big one, mate. I was reading through Google News just now, and it says Burgess Shale discovery believed to be the fossil records of first fish jaw. Take a look at that.
It looks like an eel.
Mm-hmm.
That's a jaw. Wait, what am I looking at?
Yeah.
I don't know.
First fish jaw?
Yeah, that's what
The very first. The meta.
Wait, the very first fish to have a jaw? Do fish have jaws?
Lived
Yeah.
505 million years ago.
They do. They do. They do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The 2-inch creature is the latest organism discovered in the Burgess Shale fossil field in the Canadian Rockies of British Columbia.
Was not aware there was a fossil field there.
It looks like they're just trying to piece it together right now. I was thinking about it. A friend once made the argument to me that velociraptors had like a crazy descent from other. I don't know if it was almost lizard based or something. It was. We did a podcast on it.
Feathers,
we were
right?
talking about it. Yeah, because I've heard turkeys and stuff like that. But he just said something that I had never considered before of what it could have been, and I said, I don't know. I mean, I would think with all the the skeletons we have of them that we've studied, we would, probably. He said, "No, you don't have any idea how few we actually have of them."
That's the thing. The megalodon, the shark that's supposed to be the size of a bus, all they have are teeth, because the cartilage doesn't stay preserved. So that's all an assumption on the teeth, but it could be just some giant tooth freak monster. But they'll assume it's relative size to a bus. But I mean, I don't know how you reverse engineer something based on fragments of bone. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's back in the day. They did when they first started finding all these fossils and actually trying to piece together, they had all sorts of different species as one dinosaur, but it was like multiple. Now, with record keeping and all that fun stuff, we're getting better at it, but still, it's all guessing, educated guessing, but still.
Yeah. I
always hate people tell me that it's a fact, but it's not even really a fact. But it's like, scientists don't know what color dinosaurs are. Like, that's not a fact. It's not even, no, get out of my face. I always see that shit on Twitter.
Does it matter?
Yeah, does it? It doesn't fucking matter. You know what else scientists don't know? A lot of shit. Lots of things, man. And we're going to pick dinosaur colors?
How many unidentified species? They don't even know how many species they don't know about that are like in the water.
Yeah. I mean, if it goes back far enough and all we have is a few examples of what they are, I mean, in terms of evolution, where they could have been previously or what they could have evolved into, I mean, there's a lot of when you're looking at the course of millions, hundreds of millions of years, that these species and all the other species that came before it or, after it, there's no telling, all we have is what we can look at directly right then and there. And that could be anything, that only gives us a little glance into that one particular moment. We can kind of make guesses on what may have come in a short window of time before or after, but, you're still looking at millions of years of gaps of information where you just don't know. I was also talking about the same subject to a different person, and we were talking about Bigfoot. He said he watched this special that kind of interested him because they were making this argument that the reason we all kind of envision the same similar monsters is because we may be like genetically coded. It might be in our DNA to be afraid of the possibility of those things out there because millions of years ago, that's why we were, it's how we survived. The same reason, not the same, but I mean, could be a possibility there's a connection between when you're a little kid and you're worried about monsters in your closet is tied to something millions of years ago when you were worried about tigers or lions in the bush over there,
Or it's like that thing with like when people are afraid of snakes or spiders, just not because anything happened, but they're just kind of born that way.
Right.
It could be their ancestors were also afraid of spiders or snakes that were venomous, and they lived and passed that trait on.
Yeah.
So fear could be genetic.
Yeah, for our own survival.
Right.
Just imagine the things that we're worried about now, like where our disposition for awareness in terms of what strikes us as dangerous, like what that could eventually turn into. It would be really, probably really lame things like, oh, this counter is just not clean enough. They do not have the beer on tap that I wish to have right now. This is a problem. Just become so spoiled. But
that's what, like, I saw this study or something where they showed like a bunch of people, a bunch of pictures, and which ones they found uncomfortable or which ones made them uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'd show them like happy pictures of like cute animals and shit, and then like rotting flesh and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's pretty easy, but like we all have like the same things where gross things make us uncomfortable. For the most part, we all do. Some of us don't.
I was talking to this guy who used to be a firefighter in this kind of more of a mountainy terrain place, and he said that one time there was a truck with a trailer hitch carrying like camping supplies or something along those lines, and they kind of drove off an embankment, and whatever they were towing came down and crushed the backs, smashing their cabin between the ground and whatever it was they were hauling. And he said they got there and the guy was had like something going through him, something was smashing in his head. He said he had blood all over him, but he continued to talk. He was conscious, and they were trying to figure out what to do, and eventually it came down to, we're going to have to pull that, we'll just call it a camper, the camper off of the truck. We're going to have to take it off of him. There was nothing else they could do. So, I mean, and it's on top of him. So he said they went and they got a crane. They lifted it up, and as soon as the pressure came off of him, he said his skull just collapsed and his brains were just out there. Like he just fell apart.
And he kept talking.
No.
Stop talking.
He died.
What if he chose to live the rest of his life like that?
No, you can't make, they don't even give you that decision. It's like, we're doing this, we don't care what you say.
No, but
give it 10 more seconds and you won't care either.
Suspended animation will not save you from that situation.
Did he die by the new definition or the old definition?
Oh, this is morbid. But yeah. You see a lot of crazy stuff he said out on the mountains because it's so much, people, they'd go from 3 lanes to 2 lanes to 1 lane, and they'd go through tunnels, and it's around these corners, and it gets icy,
Yeah, man. So many accidents and shit over there.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Couldn't do it. I think we don't think about how much crazy shit firefighters and cops see on the day to day. That we'll probably go our whole lives without seeing somebody with their head exploded or some shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow, man.
I had someone tell me he's a firefighter of going into a house where, they knew there were going to be drugs. It was some sort of lab, a meth lab. He said that the people booby-trapped the ceiling panels with putting meth on, things to knock over and burn you. I don't know if it was explosives or just acidic stuff that were in buckets that if you pushed it up, it would have tipped over and fell on top of you. Whoever was trying to get into the ceiling panels. He was like, yeah, super paranoia. So it was a meth lab. So
they should have just burnt that building down. Don't worry about it.
Dangerous.
Pick it up, put the whole thing on a trailer, take it out to a field, burn it all down.
And then it'll explode.
Yeah.
I've been reading Fight Club, revisiting Chuck Palahniuk's Fight Club.
Yeah.
That book, it's fantastic. I've read a couple other books or attempted. I've read, I think it was Chew that I read through, or Monster. That was what it was. I haven't read Chew.
Are these by
Chuck Palahniuk?
Same author?
Yeah. Yeah, but Fight Club is on another, I don't know if that was his first novel or what, but I mean, it's so sharp. Have you ever, it's not that long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw it in your book bag the other day.
You ever read it or?
Steven's read it.
I thought you had read it.
No, I actually have it on
it's really
ebook,
good.
though.
I'd recommend it. I'd highly recommend it. It's really interesting. I mean, it ties in a lot with the movie, which is also fantastic for anybody who hasn't seen it, but just see his writing really with no limits to just kind of go freely. It's even better. And it's real interesting because they talk about explosives, making explosives, and every little detail comes from this dry.
Does he go into great detail about how to make explosives from fucking soap or whatever?
Does.
Really?
He does. He tells you how to make silencers with pistols.
Wow.
He tells you how to. It's a lot of what's it called? Anarchy. Anarchy related things. Project Mayhem and. Pretty much getting you down. It's like fraternity mentality. It's like breaking everyone down to a point where they can't go any lower, and then you come back feeling more on top than ever in your life.
Right.
Quit your job, leave your government. It's all there designed to hurt you. Abandon it all, be reborn, take a punch to the face.
Does Tyler and the main character have different voices in the book?
Their dialogue is based differently because
they talk differently, they think differently, or does it seem like they're different characters?
To spoil anything, but they both characters have distinctive.
So if you've never read it, never seen the movie before, and you start reading, if you pick up the book, you're going to think they're different characters.
Not to spoil anything, but yes, Jeff.
Okay. Which
you just spoiled.
Oh, sorry.
But you can notice. You can't notice. I mean. It's hard not to because I saw the movie first, so it's hard to watch it and not know what's going on. So yeah,
I want to say I don't know if this is true, but I think the author said that he liked the movie better than his own book.
Really?
I think.
I mean, that's funny. The movie's
probably
super
good.
Good so yeah,
it's all because of Brad Pitt.
Looking handsome.
Edward Norton does it pretty well. Their portrayal of Marla is also very to the T from the book and all that. All the characters, Big Bob, Chloe, all of it.
Bitch tits.
I read half of it, and then I stopped reading it.
Why?
I'm just not into reading books. It's not my thing.
I've done that before.
I've done that with almost all the books.
Yeah. I've probably picked up and read at least half of and not finished more books than I have finished.
Had to be high school or something last time I finished a book.
Anybody got time for books anymore?
Required to read.
Yeah. Then I just started bullshitting and faking the last few third of the book. It's not for me, man.
Do y'all think reading implemented in school is a good idea?
It's a good idea, yes.
Does it benefit people?
But I don't know. I didn't like the idea of forcing. When I was a student, I hated being forced to read. Being forced to read books, that is. But I don't know. Reading textbooks isn't a whole lot better. But we do need to read. Especially at such a young age. But there's so many kids between like 10 and 16 that don't really have any interests at all. So it's impossible for them to find a book that will interest them.
Mm-hmm.
Or nearly impossible.
I just listen to everything now. You can just listen to all the things you would read.
But does reading make you smarter? Is reading better for you?
Is
you
it?
Process it differently?
I think it is.
I think either way, I'm getting the information. It's everybody. Some people, they write stuff down, they read it, and that's how they
it's
learn.
soaking up the
Other
information
people
and
hear stuff
comprehending
and
it
they're
in a
good.
different format.
Yeah, if I read a book, I'll zone out and I'll get 3 chapters in and be like, what
I feel like you
what's
can
been
make
happening?
you can make better connections when you're reading material than when you're listening to it. I feel like you can comprehend definitely when you're listening, but I don't know. At least my imagination tends to wander a little bit when I'm listening.
See, I'm the opposite way. When I'm reading, that's when I just zone out.
Oh.
Yeah, I can listen to shit a lot better. I think the best way for me is to listen to something and then write it down.
Yeah, so I guess everybody's different. See, I'm the opposite way. I need to read something and write it down.
Yeah, I gotta be lectured, man.
But every single person on the face of this planet is different, and every single one of us learns.
We're all like
differently.
beautiful snowflakes. No one alike.
You hear that, everybody? You're beautiful. You're special. It's the most unenthusiastic.
You're special doesn't
form of
mean you're
encouragement.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Glad we got that out the way.
I'm pretty sure I blinked in that.
Well, the other ones we were talking about reading, we looked so like both of you, and we're just like, yeah, reading.
Yeah, let's get off that nerd shit.
Oh, at MIT, I found out recently that they've got this experiment they've been running for 40 generations of cat that have all never seen the day of light.
Cats?
Cats.
That have
Seems
never
really
seen.
fucked up.
Yeah, that is.
At first it does, but later on,
What happened to these cats?
They mutate?
what do you mean?
Do they go blind?
You said at first it seems fucked up, but
Wait,
later
they've never
on,
been exposed to
Later
sunlight or
on, they're
light?
born into it and they develop night vision.
Do they?
No.
No.
But I think, in theory, that could
they've never been
happen.
exposed to light or daylight?
Daylight.
Any light.
Any light?
What?
They are raised in darkness.
So, well,
That's fucking animal torture.
and-
How are they allowed to do that?
they asked the dog people, not the cat people.
Dog people were like, yeah, fuck cats. We don't care about them. Do whatever you want.
Don't tell the cat people. That's so. In like when they finish the experiment, they're just gonna let all these cats go, and they're just gonna be blinded
God
immediately.
damn.
What is this?
Weren't they born blind? Cats? They're born blind, right? So if they're
think-
never
well, I
exposed
guess-
to light at all, then
Isn't everything born blind?
are babies?
Takes
are
a
human
while.
babies?
Yeah, it takes a while for your eyes to get going.
Really?
I think.
Hmm.
I'm not a babyologist.
I don't remember. I don't remember whenever I was a baby, so I
I don't remember a lot of things.
could not give you a precise reenactment
For
of.
when your eyes started working.
Yes. What is your first memory?
I've
Earliest
often
memory.
tried to pin it down, but I can never
I can't
do it.
do it either. I'd say, actually, I have a picture of it. One of my earliest memories, I think, was my second birthday or third birthday, and I was opening presents, and I was. It's a very faint, short memory. Like probably 5 seconds long. I got a lot of toy cars as a young boy, as most young boys probably do. Toy cars, trains, trucks, tractors, whatever, shit like that. Boy shit. And pretty much everybody in my family that was invited to my birthday party got me the same thing. It was all trucks and cars and stuff
Maybe
like
you were
that.
just one of those kids that just yelled cars all the time.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Once again, I don't remember. cannot attest to that, but I probably was. So anyway, I got a bunch of that. I remember lining them up on my kitchen table. And it's, like I said, just 5 seconds of a memory, but we have a picture of it. So I don't know if the picture helps
or
the
if
memory,
you kind of like recreated it in your mind.
or yeah, maybe if I recreated it out of that picture.
Okay, first memory, and I'd have to ask when these happened, but they have to do with me causing massive amounts of pain to myself.
Well, pain is definitely sticks out in the brain.
Yeah. So I wanted a glass of apple juice, and they used to keep apple juice in these big ass gallon glass jugs, and
Oh yeah, my dad still has one of those.
Dropped it on my toe, shattered and split it. I still have a huge scar. It's the biggest scar I have, and it's on my big toe.
Dang.
Yeah, I'll show you guys in a minute. But
most of my scars I still have a scar from when I was 10.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you usually grow out of your scars from when you're younger. I had to be pretty young though, because I couldn't hold a gallon jar without dropping it on myself. And then the other one was, and I don't exactly remember I grabbed the muffler of a hot, let's just say it's a lawnmower, but it was like a tilling machine, which is pretty much the same thing. And this was like old from like the 70s. There was like no guard. I grabbed it, just, I don't know why. And then the thing I remember the most is my parents spraying this like burn stuff on me, and just the smell. I can still smell the spray of, it's just like this bitter, nasty, but on top of like my burning flesh.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty amazing how smells never really leave the brain.
Yeah, man.
I can still smell, like, some things remind me of my grandparents' house a lot, and they haven't lived in that house in, I don't know, like 8 years.
I've always heard that smell is the
strongest, or it's the most linked to memory, right?
Yeah, most linked to memory.
Yeah, or strongest link to memory.
Because like you can just, that smell will bring you right back to that one moment. That's crazy though.
And it's like the sense that, or I'm sorry, it's the sense that most people could do without. If you had to give up one of your senses, most people would pick smell.
Just, I don't think.
I want to keep taste. I want to keep feel. I want to keep
I don't like
sight,
question.
And I want to keep hearing. Smell. I can go.
So much of taste is tied to smell, though.
Yeah.
So
never have to smell a fart again.
Yeah, but you never get to smell anything good.
Yeah, I never get to smell cinnamon rolls cooking in the oven.
Fresh rain on the pavement. Yeah. Which actually, rain doesn't have a scent. It's the smell of the ground, but the moisture. Your nose smells better when stuff's moist instead of dry.
Cool thing on the topic of rain. I was up in my school today, getting the woodshop teacher to help me with building this Bago cornhole set that I'm making. And anyway, he showed me around his shop, and he has like a huge shop. And in the back, he has one of his classes is making a rainwater collector. So they have gutters on the building, but they just drilled a hole in it and pretty much ghetto rigged this PVC pipe out of the gutter and into this huge. Best way I can describe it is, it's what like animal feed, like cattle feed would come in. It's this huge bin, and it's super deep. It's probably, I don't know, 5 feet wide, but then like 10 feet deep. Anyway, it's full of rainwater. And he told me to go up and look at it. And the first thing I noticed when I went up there is it's completely clear. And I was so surprised at that. And there wasn't anything settled at the bottom. It was just all clear. And he said they're also trying to do aquaponics, which is different than hydroponics. Aquaponics involves fish. And so these fish are floating around in the tank, and teaching kids how to grow stuff.
Fish in water?
Oh.
That seems pretty obvious.
Oh, well, no. Okay. So anyway, these fish in the water, I couldn't explain the whole thing, but anyway, these fish poop, and then the nutrients are taken out of that water, and that's what fertilizes the plants.
Okay.
So there's never any need to buy fertilizer, never anything like that. It's the whole process is right there.
Right.
They're composting it. You feed the fish poop. That goes back into the earth by fertilizing these plants. Anyway, he said they were using tap water to put in their fish tanks, and it kept killing their fish. and they couldn't figure out why. And then they had, I don't know, somebody told them that it's because of the chlorine and all the shit that we put in our water, which is really unhealthy for us if you see what it's doing to these damn fish.
I drink well water.
Anyway, so they stopped using tap water and they started using rainwater, and the fish lived.
Yeah. I mean, you're supposed to, if you're going to put fish in tap water, you're supposed to treat it first with other chemicals. So.
I guess they didn't.
Yeah. That's cool, though.
I can't remember why exactly I got off on that tangent.
The
talking about rainwater.
Rain and
right.
smell. Dude,
Yeah.
when I was in Mexico, they would collect rainwater in these big jugs on some of the houses, but the jug was painted black, so they'd use it for a hot shower. So the sun would heat it up all day, and then at night,
Smart.
they'd take a nice warm shower.
Yeah.
Isn't
that amazing though? Like,
yeah,
that's the things that we could do. I mean, all this effort that we try to put into filtering water and purifying it and whatever, but it's all done right above us in these clouds.
That's the most basic form, of solar power and utilization of the elements.
Yeah, they're trying to get. He was explaining to me they're trying to get their entire building off the grid within the next 4 years.
Just the carpentry shop, or
yeah, they've got a whole huge building. It's like his shop and technology or robotics engineering.
You should, whenever you have your break class, you should be like, hey, I'm going to come in and you're going to teach me how to carpenter. How to be a carpenter. That'd be cool.
That would be really cool. I'm sure he would.
Yeah.
He's a really cool ass dude. He was in the Air Force, I think. Some branch of the military.
I always wanted that skill.
Yeah, me too.
Woodworking.
He showed me, he made a bago set and he has it in his wood shop. And it's fucking flawless.
How long's he been doing teaching?
2 years.
How long has he
been? At a public school, 2 years. He taught I think it was the Air Force. Taught, I guess, building trades in the Air Force or something like that. I don't know. I've never talked to him about
his life.
His Air Force stuff.
That'd be cool. I never took any cool classes in high school.
Yeah, I didn't either. Had a couple cool teachers, but never really had any cool classes.
Yeah, you basic shit. I took a culinary arts, but then it was just more like, make sure you wash the dishes.
Where at?
Biloxi.
Really?
But it was it wasn't called culinary arts. It was called.
It
was essentially
brownie class?
home. It was home ec.
I wish they still taught home ec. I wish it was.
They called it something different.
I wish they still had mandatory home ec for girls and wood shop for boys. But I'm sure I know why they don't, because it's gender
Mexico's
roles.
basically a slave state, and girls should still have home ec class.
No, I get it,
dude. I would have signed up for home ec. I don't give a shit. I love to cook.
I'd like to take both.
I get excited talking about cooking, man.
It's 2014.
Yesterday, I
understand.
made cream of that company Anna's Kitchen or whatever. It's all organic stuff, comes from California or whatever. I got a cream of mushroom soup, sautéed some squash, green pepper, carrots in coconut oil, sautéed it in coconut oil, put the cream of mushroom in, put some spinach leaves in it, cooked it down, threw some Zatarain spices on it, and then dropped grass-fed butter into it.
Where'd you get grass-fed butter?
The Amish store in Gulfport.
Got an Amish store around here?
Yeah, you know where Rouse's is? It's right across the street.
Really?
It's called
Across Pass Road or what?
Yeah, it's on Pass Road.
Huh.
You know where
what else they have
is? You
there?
keep going west. It's right there on the right.
Hang on, the Amish store.
Just in. Lots of Amish products.
Right.
They've got every kind of organic, grass-fed, non-GMO,
Wow.
gluten-free.
Is it run by Amish people?
I've met the owner. It's Sydney's Marketplace is the place. They have raw milk from goats, cows. They have.
Is that even legal to sell here?
If the farm is close enough.
Does
Really?
milk have to be
I thought it had to be
homogenized?
pasteurized.
Pasteurized and homogenized, whatever.
Because there's a thing about cheese. I don't know. Maybe we'll look into it. They might be shutting Sydney's down soon.
No.
Selling illegal milk.
No, man. They're it's a cool place. I like it. Uses a lot of places, local farms around here in Mississippi to get their produce from.
Speaking
It's
of
a cool
local,
place.
this wine is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm digging it. The blueberry rosé.
Did your parents make it?
Yes,
That's
they did.
right. That's right. They just celebrated their 25th anniversary. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations.
What is the 25th
Impressive
anniversary?
stuff, folks.
Silver.
Silver.
Yeah.
What's the paper anniversary? Isn't
1.
that 1? Okay. Some pretty shitty anniversaries towards the front end.
Nah, dude, you just got to be creative with that shit. You don't give them a gift of paper. You could give them like a poem or a drawing or maybe some tickets to a concert or some shit. Trip to a place. It's all paper.
Sweet. Damn.
Be creative, man.
There's some pretty other shitty ones though.
There's
I'm
like
pretty
tin,
sure.
there's
tin.
wood, copper.
Yeah.
I think wood's way up there. I want to say tin's like 5. That sounded weird. TIN is like 5, not
Yeah.
TEN. Tin. Can you tell which one was which?
No.
Did we have a discussion on this a while ago, making fun of somebody who said?
Was it me? Because I feel like that sometimes.
I don't know. I've made fun of somebody though for maybe, I don't know. I can't remember.
All right, I'm going to say cat with a K and then cat with a C and see if you can tell the difference. Cat.
Second one was cat.
Which which one?
The first one was with a K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, you can hear it. It's in your head.
Okay, let me try then.
Okay.
Cat.
Okay.
Wait, what would you use cat as a K for?
It's not
Cat
a real
Williams.
word. We just
like
made
Kit
it up.
Kat?
Cat Williams.
Yeah, like Kit Kat or Cat
Okay,
Williams.
Okay, I'm going to try this. Okay, so cat
Okay.
or cat.
The second one was cat with a C.
They were both the same.
No.
I fooled you. They were
Nope.
both with a K.
But
have
It's
to-
I
like
was
telling
making
you
fun-
what your sign was. It's like
I was
that
making
is
fun
for
of
sure
somebody
me.
for
No,
pin and
it wasn't.
pen.
I lied.
Well,
But
that's
pin and pen are pronounced differently, wouldn't you say?
Pin. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you could get into an argument, I guess, about it. A dumb one, but yeah.
Yeah, a dumb one. I've heard English is one of like next to Cantonese or Mandarin. Which one's harder, Cantonese or Mandarin? They're
I
pretty much
think
the
Cantonese
same.
is like
but
the more.
Cantonese is like a dialect of Mandarin, right?
I think they're two different.
They are?
I think they're.
Oh wait,
similar.
no. The written version is the same, but the spoken version is completely different. I think that's what it is.
I thought I could be completely wrong, but I thought Cantonese was like the more scholarly one,
Really?
whereas Mandarin is like the everyday dialect.
I thought it was the opposite.
I could be wrong.
No, wait. I see. Okay, I thought Mandarin was the everyday one, but
Right.
I thought Cantonese was for like kind of rural areas
Really?
of China. Who knows? Not me.
Chinese person.
Anyway, they're different, but for those and English are like the hardest languages to learn. But I can see how English would be difficult to learn. It has so many homophones,
I've heard Russian was super
homonyms,
hard.
and homophobes, and not homophobes. What is it?
Homophones.
Homophones. That's right. And synonyms and all these damn different words that mean different things, and you got to put commas certain places. And
Weird grammatical rules. Yeah.
just so many damn grammar rules.
Just come out of nowhere. I think it was because English was a spoken language before it was a written language, and I
So
think
we
that's
made
why
grammar
it's,
rules
that's,
according to how it was spoken.
Yeah, because it's based on speech.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it is more difficult to write than other languages with commas and semicolons. And I've been practicing it for 26 years, and I still don't know what the fuck a semicolon's for.
May never know. Or the dash rule. There's different types of dashes. Did
Like
you know
a
that?
hyphen? Is it have to
There's
do with
hyphens, and then there's a dash, and then there's some other dash, and they're all used differently. Well, a hyphen is between, like, I don't know, pixie dust or something. Well, you would hyphen.
You know what I found out the other day? That an acronym is only when you pronounce it.
Oh, really?
So like NASA is an acronym, but the NAACP is not an acronym.
What is that?
I forgot the word. It's a word I'd never heard of before.
A mnemonic?
No, it was something else. It was its own word. So like NAMBLA is an acronym.
What is NAMBLA?
National Man Boy Love Association.
No.
I was watching on TV. The Mummy came on the other day. You guys ever seen that movie?
Of course.
Yes, it's been a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah. They
Who's fucking in this? The Rock.
Brendan Fraser.
No.
The Rock's not until 3.
Yeah, and The Rock's not until 3. But
and the Scorpion King.
That's right.
It made me think about did y'all hear about how they think they figured out how they moved all the stones around for the pyramids?
Oh yeah,
I've heard a theory.
I've heard several theories, but it's just still amazing.
I've heard it was through the inside.
Well, they said the most recent thing, I think this was May,
through the inside.
back in May, that they
like tunnels.
kind of produced this. It was the University of Amsterdam believe they've discovered how they did it, how they get it around. They think that you wet the sand because it cuts back on friction. Because if you try to move a heavy enough object on sand, what happens? The sand builds up in front of it as you drag it. Then you got to dig all that sand away to keep it moving. But if you just pour some water on it, the right amount, it changes the density of the sand, and then you just slide it over that way.
How'd they get them up? Like to the next level.
That they're still thinking aliens did that.
Yeah,
but on the ground level, the sand thing it worked out fabulously. They think
the thing I heard about how they got them up was inside the pyramid there were ramps.
Oh, okay.
Because you can't make a ramp around the outside to like support it or some shit.
They said there's.
Is this the guy that you work with told you that?
No, he went with aliens too.
Who knows?
They said there's some wall paintings that depict people walking in front of stones, like big stones that are being pulled by slaves or whatever, and it shows the person wetting the ground, and they just thought it was a religious, ceremonial kind of thing. Turns out they think that the answer might be a lot more simpler. To test their hypothesis, researchers loaded up sledges with heavy weights and dragged them across the sand. When they dragged the weighted sled across the dry sand, the front sled dug into the sand, yada, yada, yada. So, yeah.
What if they had some sort of, like, miraculous technology that we've just...
Levitate shit?
Yeah, that's just gone forgotten. I
don't know. I don't think they did, but I mean, it's possible.
What are we talking about here?
We don't even know what color dinosaurs are, guys. Come on.
No.
Like, if they had some sort of technology that we've just forgotten or we haven't thought of yet in modern world.
They thought of, but we did not.
Yeah, they didn't pass it on, and we just haven't.
Somewhere it died off. I don't know. I mean,
we could build a pyramid now. I feel like so. Cranes and shit, airplanes, helicopters. Yeah,
I saw something.
But could we do it to the degree like
better? I'm gonna go ahead and say now we could do it better.
Okay.
And we wouldn't even use slavery, so it would be morally okay.
I've seen something where they would stand these pieces up vertically and tie something to the top and get groups of people on both sides, and they would each pull and just kind of wiggle it. And
that's how they believe they did Stonehenge.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe I saw that for Stonehenge.
Yeah, because I saw the same thing where this guy was trying to recreate Stonehenge by himself in his backyard, and he was using all like older techniques, and he was doing it where he would do weird shit, just like using weight and balance, and so he could manipulate it and turn it how he needed to. So it was pretty cool, man. I just think,
and he did it by himself.
Pretty sure. I've seen the thing you're talking about, but this guy, I think it was over in England, did it by himself, or was starting to. You Google Stonehenge recreation, etc., etc. What you guys think they use Stonehenge for?
I don't know.
A decor piece.
Giant clock. First anniversary.
Yeah, perhaps. It's almost like a perfect circle, right?
Yeah, I'm sure something happens when the sun hits something.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's broken down some.
Maybe religious.
It's got to be like a religion thing. As most ancient wonders are.
Yeah, the things people do for religion, man, that's weird.
Putting rocks on top of each other, it's wild. Not too different from now.
Yeah.
In religion. A lot of rock movement. It's the cornerstone of a good religion. So what's everyone's plans for tomorrow? Nothing.
The only things on my agenda are to finish my little project and go to the gym. And I've got to move a couple things over here. I was going to right now, but I was my house was bombarded by fucking
termites.
Yeah. It was insane. It was like a fucking scene from The Walking Dead in like one of the first episodes when all the zombies are breaking through the that shop that they're all holed up in.
What, in the first episode?
It's not the first episode. One of the first. It might be the first episode when Rick meets the gang, I guess, and they're in that shopping center, and they're on the ground floor, and these zombies are they find out that they're in this building, so they start breaking down the front doors, and like in most malls, there's 2 doorways.
Right.
There's the first one and the second one. Anyway, my house was like a scene. That scene right there. But instead of zombies, it was fucking termites.
So a lot scarier.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like thousands of termites. It was insane.
That's crazy. I've heard the problem was pretty bad this year. Termites.
Yeah.
Big ass, not zombies.
Which I don't know if I'm thinking about the correct insect. But I think I've heard this about termites. They only live for like a very short amount of time. It's 24, 36 hours or something like that. But they spawn at one time of the year.
Yeah.
And their only goal is to just procreate.
Yeah, that's a lot. Like flies do that. They only live a short amount of time. Isn't it?
Fly facts? Is that what we need to look up here?
I don't know, but I guess it's not really too different from any other species.
Is it
right?
cicadas or locusts that they burrow underground and hang out for some years and then they come out?
Maybe it's both.
I think it's cicadas. Maybe it is both. Who knows? Yeah, bugs are crazy, man.
During a fly's lifetime, usually 30-day cycle, a female fly will lay anywhere from 400 to 600 eggs. Each fly egg hatches into a small grub-like creature, which looks more like an inchworm than a fly. By eating nutrients from soil, ponds, or even in the sea, larvae will grow to adult fly size within a few days. There's a quote in Fight Club where for Fight Club, he prints up these things while he's at work, like rules and sayings and weird haikus. Yeah. And one of them, one of his haikus that he writes is something along the lines of, even worker bees go outside, they see the light of day, the queen is their slave. Or something like that. I was just thinking about the makeup of how beehives work, or like ants. Remember on one podcast we were talking about how crazy ants were, and yeah, I think
that may have been the first one.
No, it wasn't the first one. No, it was in the Lost episode where we had to do the redo.
Is that episode 5?
Yeah, we had the best followed by one of our least favorites up to that. But I mean, after number 5,
I want to say we were just drunker for 5 than 5.1.
We were drunk.
I was drunk. Surprise!
Some other fact flies. Flies have over 4,000 facets for sight in each eye.
Goodness.
Flies are attracted by movement more than color. Flies have a smelling distance of over 750 yards.
Wow.
That's
amazing.
That's why they're always up in your...
Yeah, I've heard, like, and I guess this is pretty true. With bees, if you want a bee to leave you alone, then you just got to be still.
Yeah, they just want to smell you and then go about their bee business.
A lot of times they just swarm around your head and then they fly off. But if you start swatting at it, they'll come bite your ass.
Fun bee fact, bees, when they sting other insects, don't die. But our skin's thicker, so their stingers get stuck, and then when they pull, it disembowels them. So.
Really?
Yeah. That's why you always hear... bees die when they sting people,
Don't
but with other animals, it's not so much. I was watching Ripley's Believe It or Not once, and there was this place in China where they used bees as therapy, and they would sting you. And, like, I don't know what it was supposed to do.
Kind of like acupuncture?
Yeah, but with bee venom and bee stingers. It was weird.
It's kind of like those guys who, maybe like guys who are snake catchers or something like that. Or just anybody who feels like doing this, where they give themselves snake venom to build up an immune system.
Yeah. Just like in The Princess Bride.
Yes, just like that.
Do you know the part I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
What are your plans for tomorrow?
I got to work, and I get off at 2. Probably work out, take a nap. You told me you were gonna take me to lunch, but I guess not.
We can do that.
No.
What,
I mean, well,
like after 2, right?
Yeah. Well, I gotta work out and take a nap, or
Well, yeah.
reverse that.
I just
So dinner,
okay.
followed by croquet in the park.
Oh, okay, for sure. What I was saying was, I was going to bring some shit here, but I was bombarded by termites. Anyway, so I'll have to bring it tomorrow. So I'll bring it all over here. So the only things I have on my agenda are to bring some shit here, finish up my little project, gym. That's about it.
Your little project's the cornhole thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cornhole.
Keep
Like to call it backgo though.
Yeah.
Cornhole is a bit of a dirty word.
Sounds like a sex move in Louisiana.
All right, is that our show? That's it. Is that it?
Is it?
It feels like it's winding down.
Yeah.
You feel that way?
I guess.
What time is
I
it?
do this on a wheel. Let's marathon it. Let's do 3 right now. That's episode 1. Let's start episode 2. What are you guys doing tomorrow?
Nothing.
Yeah, dude.
All right, 59 more minutes more to go on this episode.
Oh, this is going to be a bad one. So I got this gum right here. I prefer a sweet mint over a mint. Mint's just too pungent for my palate.
Is it really?
Sweet mint is sweeter. I don't know. Yeah, it is. But,
Who gives a shit about that?
Yeah, that is not a thing.
That is not a thing.
Cut that. We'll tank that one for the lost episode.
Hey, have y'all seen the previews for the Edge of Tomorrow?
I heard it was awesome.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
Did y'all get
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right.
What
Greg
is
said reschedule.
Yeah.
We were talking about going to see it Tuesday, but we just didn't.
Let's see if next Tuesday is possible. If y'all are down.
I'm down.
It's pretty cool.
I
It's
will not be here.
Based on
that's right.
an anime, maybe.
Who's in it? Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt. Rode on a roller coaster with Emily Blunt once. Pretty cool.
She was in the back. You were in the front.
She
Never
was in
made
the
eye
front.
contact.
No, we did not make eye contact. It's her and her husband, John Krasinski. It's in Disneyland.
The dude from
The
Office?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know
Married.
they were married.
Yeah, they got a kid.
What?
Yeah. Don't know what the kid's name
Which
is.
character is that?
Jim, the main one.
What? So
Yeah.
he doesn't marry Pam in real?
No.
For real?
Nope. Him and Jenna
Dang.
Fisher are not together.
Oh.
Did they date or something?
I don't think so. I think Emily Blunt's hotter, though.
They were just such a good couple on the show.
Yeah.
Felt like they were for real.
That's what everybody thought.
Yeah.
I started watching Mad Men.
Yeah? How's
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
I haven't watched
Only
it
on
ever.
episode 3.
Okay.
But I think
Is it
advertising
slow?
stuff. Yeah, it's slow. It's a little dry, but it's dialogue based. So coming off the high of Breaking Bad, I figured this would be a good way to ease myself back into or stay. in the realm.
You're still coming off the high of Breaking Bad.
I guess I just said that for fun, but I figured Mad
It's a
Men
good
would be. I figured Mad Men would be along the same lines, and it's all like New York advertising and
Yeah.
marketing, and I love that stuff. So
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
yeah, it's pretty interesting so far. It was either that or American Horror Story, which I
Sure,
watched
that
the
was
first
good.
one, but I didn't.
I watched
I
some
don't
of it
know.
with my sister. I couldn't get it.
It's weird.
It didn't.
but
Yeah,
it's,
it was
it's good.
very weird.
It's good. The pilot
Is
was
it?
good. Oh, I only watched the first episode.
I watched the first
I was
3.
impressed by it.
Guys, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Dude, we will.
3
Whenever
words.
Jeff gets back from Europe, Louis gonna hook us up with the
Is he?
collection. I thought, isn't that? Didn't
Was
he say?
Louis?
Or
Told
no,
me,
was it Steven?
Louis told me a while ago that he could give me the whole
One of our buddies are gonna
Almost
hand
the
it.
series.
Are
Doesn't
gonna
Louis
hook us
have
up. They
Steven?
want us. It's like
Steven
when you
has
want
the
to turn someone
first
on to Breaking
season.
Bad, you do it.
Steven still has all my Walking Dead comic books, and I need to get them back.
Steven. Okay, well we're due a trade because I have
A trade, they're
Steven's-
mine.
Well, a swap because I have Steven's
Is he holding
Godfather.
hostage?
Yeah.
I have Steven's
Shit.
Godfather. He has the fucking Game of Thrones that he needs to give me. And
Steven,
he
I
has
got an
Walking
offer
Dead.
you
So
can't
Steven
refuse.
doesn't get anything except for his own shit back.
Yeah, I just want my own shit back.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, you gonna get your shit back? I'll make him an offer he can't refuse.
I haven't even asked him about it yet.
I'll give you my Godfather or your Godfather. Back for it.
He Snapchatted me a picture of the Game of Thrones that he has. He's like, bro, I got this shit right here. I just never see him.
He will randomly text me about Game of Thrones, the episode that came on. It'll last about 4 exchanges, and then he will stop talking to me. So,
is it HBO?
Yeah.
Game of Thrones is on, yeah.
Titties and dragons and swords. So about that shit. Best show on TV.
Like Entourage mixed with, I don't know, what's a dragon show?
Reign of Fire is a dragon movie. Dragon,
awesome one.
Dragon Tale. It's a kid show.
Yeah.
I think that's the name of it. Hold on, I just said this to Jacob. What's their little saying? To fly with dragons in a land apart. I wish with all my heart to fly with dragons in a land apart. So they have a dragon scale. When they hold it and say that, they get transported to Dragonland.
Oh, man, I wish.
No, these are not the kind of dragons you want to hang out with.
Really?
Yeah. They're like Barney
They're not
with
like Man
wings.
Before Time?
They made it sound like
it's
Disney
dinosaurs,
World,
not
so
dragons.
that's
not.
disappointing. I mean, imagine them just like someone as a practical joke giving them that, be like, dude, do you want to go to Dragonland? There's this little jingle you sing. Yeah, dude, hand it over. And then it's fucking Jurassic Park 4 when they get there, and there's fire everywhere. And, which, by the way, they're making a Jurassic Park 4
in New Orleans.
Let's go
It's
be
being
in
filmed at fucking
Carnival Land.
the Jazz Land.
Six Flags.
The abandoned Jazz Land or Six Flags, yeah. So fucking
No, they film shit there all the time.
really?
Let's go. We'll pretend to be
We need to
in the
fucking
crew.
we need to go urban exploring there when there's nobody there.
Let's do it when there's people there.
Let's fill in as extras for dinosaurs.
Right. I'll put on a dinosaur. I'll put on a dinosaur costume. That movie's so unrealistic. We don't even know what color dinosaurs are, guys.
Full circle.
Someone told me the other day they had never seen Jurassic Park, the original one. And I was like, what? That's like saying you've never seen Jaws
Is this person
before.
like 12?
No, full-grown lady.
I know a dude in college, that was like his favorite movie.
Yeah.
Good movie, but whatever.
Favorite?
Number 1 movie. I don't remember what mine was. Probably at the time, like Pulp Fiction or Fight Club or Reservoir Dogs.
What's your favorite movie now?
I don't know.
Pulp Fiction's still up there. Fight
I
Club is
haven't
up
watched
there.
it in forever.
Yeah. Came on TV a couple weeks ago.
I want to watch Mystery Team again. That was a good movie. You guys seen that?
No.
Let's watch it. I'll let you borrow it. I got it on DVD.
I just thought about this the other day. I've never seen it, but I think about you talking about it, and it was, I guess what made me think about it is a really horrible 1970s Afro ninja guy
blaxploitation
who does. It
what
was
is
a
it?
horrible movie. It was terrible. The guy probably made the movie himself, funded it, and then acted in it himself. And he's like a disco DJer, and then like he gets into like things go down, and he
That
knows
sounds
martial
awesome.
arts. And it makes me think of the one Black Dynamite. Yeah, which I've never seen either. But
Jeff texted me a couple weeks ago and was like, "Hey, this Black Dynamite movie, are they for real?" I was like, "No, it's all a joke. Just keep watching
It
it."
was on BET.
Did you watch it all? Did you like it?
No, I watched like an hour of it. I felt like I had seen enough.
I mean, I think it's hilarious.
I wasn't really following the story because I was just distracted by the absurdity of
That's
everything.
it. The story really just.
I did like the kung fu that he could break out though. And there was one. It was at the beginning of the movie where he just starts busting all these Asian dudes up, and then at the end of the fight, he's like, "All right, see you guys tomorrow."
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah. The first time I watched it, I didn't know it was a comedy, and I was just like, "What the fuck's happening right
And
now?"
then a boomstick hitting him in the head.
And then I saw, because I thought it was old, and I saw Arsenio Hall in it, I think, and I was
Is
like,
he really?
"Wait a second!" And the
It's
guy
like
from-
2011 or something.
what's his
isn't it?
name? Cedric Yarbrough
No.
from Reno 911.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then I figured out that it was a comedy, but it was fun. Love that shit. You mother.
Yeah, it's pretty recent, but it looks like it was late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
Even the quality of film looks throwback.
It was a Netflix one. Yeah, it was so popular they gave it a cartoon on Adult Swim. So,
Really?
yeah, you can watch that shit. Has like similar animation styles of Boondocks. The Boondocks. Yeah. So I've never watched it. I don't really watch cartoons too much anymore. So I would though. I just don't.
All right, fellas.
That is your show.
I think that's all. That's all, folks.
Skillabab scat, man.
Well, this is a new year of podcasting. The 1 year anniversary right there. So.
Guys, you got a trumpet for the one?
It's a pretty good trumpet.
No, it's all right. I could do better. No,
That sounds like a kazoo.
There was like a really good episode. I think it was 13 with Jacob, where you and Tim did a trumpet kazoo comparison, and you made one of the new noises, and then you were like going to name which one it was, and you hesitated. You were like, kazoo.
Apparently, I just do the same jokes over and over again. Thought that was the first time I did my trumpet kazoo impersonation.
No, dude, I'm all about the trumpet. I've been trumpeting lately too. Just improv in the car. Like, here I come, going down the road.
Fun to trumpet in the shower. You get a little bit of water on your lips and sprays like Triple H. Love that shit. You guys ever do that? Drink some water.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I watched it was like WrestleMania a month ago, I guess. And I watched some old videos of WrestleMania, and Triple H had one of like the best fights ever, or one of the top, I guess it was top 10 fights. And I used to love watching his intro, coming out there looking all pissed off, and then spitting water up into the air. He had one of the coolest intros.
I've never even watched wrestling, but I know enough about it. I know Triple H and his spit water.
It's all about the game, and now you play it. That was his intro song.
Chael Sonnen recently retired from the UFC.
Who?
Chael Sonnen, UFC fighter, well known.
I have not gotten into the UFC.
I learned how to saber a champagne. If you don't cut this off, we'll just keep going back to it. I learned how to saber a champagne bottle.
Like, pop it with a knife?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's badass. That's a cool party trick.
Yeah, I thought about doing it. I was like, 1 year we should celebrate by chopping shit up. Yeah.
How did you learn to do it?
Internet.
YouTube video?
Out and Brown. That's how you know it's legit.
Yeah.
So, saber, Napoleon apparently used to do it whenever he won battles and whatnot.
Of course he would.
So what you essentially do is you take a sword and you take the top of the thing off without shattering the bottle. But what you do is you take we're not responsible if you chop off a finger or hurt anyone. But so you take your bottle and you put it upside down.
How do you hold it?
I'll get to that. The first step, you have to chill it. So you take it upside down and put it in some ice for at least 10 minutes. I guess to get everything cold, whatever. And if you look at a champagne bottle, there's going to be a line up to the top. So you take all the stuff off the cork, the foil, the cage, whatever. And then you get your knife or saber if you got one. I have a katana. I was going to bring it, but I didn't. And you hold it. You get like a rag so it doesn't slip out your hand. But you hold the base of it to keep your hand away from it. And you just slide the knife, the blade, up that line. And then it should just pop off into like a...
How hard do you have to swing it?
I wouldn't swing it like as hard as you can, but you ride it up the bottle.
How much force does it take?
I don't know. I don't know.
Enough?
Yeah,
like a good liberal amount?
Yeah,
So how do you make sure it doesn't fly out of your other hand holding it?
Amount. Well, that's why you got a rag. You put it in a rag, and you just have a good grip on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Did you do it?
No, I can. You don't have to do stuff to know how to do it.
So you know how, but...
In theory...
I mean, I've seen Cameron Diaz do it in some fucking movie. I know how to do it, but...
Well, no, that was a shitty movie.
I don't know if I could do it.
Yeah, I could do it. Like 100% positive I could do it.
All right, we're celebrating some shit soon, so Daniel can do it.
Yeah, I'll bring the katana too. I don't know if that'll work. It's not a real one, but I might break everything. Worst case scenario, you just clean up some glass and blood.
Take you to the hospital.
I'm not going to cut my hand if someone gets in the way, though. I'll make a warning. But yeah, I could do it. I know I could do it. We'll film it.
Hell yeah.
Put it on the website.
How's the open mics been going?
Pretty awesome, man. Better. I don't know. As a host, I feel like getting better at it. Practice, you know.
Yeah, when I went last time when I went up, it was really good.
Yeah,
it was really good.
The crowd's getting bigger. Got more people performing. Yeah, just all around getting better.
Nice.
Got like a fan base now, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
So there every Monday, starting at 8. And then yeah, it's cool just because I get to try new stuff, work on old stuff. You know, it's cool knowing like if I wanted to make people laugh, I can pull out this joke and use that. So it's always, I like to write it all down, write my set, how well it went, date it. You know, all that fun stuff. I think before when I'd host, I would do kind of like shitty, just bring them up. But now I'm going to just start doing little jokes in between to kind of break up the monotony of like, all right, round of applause for this guy. Now here's this guy, round of applause for him. Because it's just so boring.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw some jokes in there. I got some one-liners. You want to hear one? I'm going to do one.
Sure.
I got to say that, Stefan, you'll be the next comedian that I'm about to introduce. And Jeff, you just got off stage. All right, everybody, that was Jeff. Everybody give Jeff a round of applause. So recently I switched to Magnum condoms, not because I have a big dick or anything, but it just looks more impressive when you drop them on the ground. All right, our next comedian is going to be Stefan Lawson. Pretty good, I think.
You should take one out of your pocket and drop it on the ground.
How am I going to follow that?
In front of a lady.
Oh, I mean,
in front of somebody.
Yeah, the whole audience.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they're going good. Only gonna get better from here, or worse. Whatever. Yeah. I'm not a psychic.
Well, cool. Well, we might be podcasting next week with the guys from Crest Live and the owners of the Mississippi Juke Joint, where we do the open mics. So. Crest Live will be open on the 4th.
You're going to make it next week? Is that what you're saying? To the open mic? To the open mic?
What are you talking about?
No, we're podcasting with Chase Taylor and Nick Quave.
Monday before the open mic?
No.
Oh,
nothing related to the open mic. We're just going to podcast them next weekend. And I guess we're going to figure out what the deal with the Crest Live is. They should be done with construction.
July
and
4th.
They've already,
I drove by there.
They've got some lineups for some people that are going to be coming through. They're going to have the Toadies.
What?
Yeah.
Possum Kingdom? Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'll be there for that shit.
I'll show you my dark secret.
Do you wanna die?
Yep. Been singing that song like the last week by chance, and I saw that they got them to come do a show. I was like, all right. Toadie's great. Or at least they are from the 2 songs I've heard.
Yeah, I come from the water.
They're from the 90s, so, I don't,
I come from the
childhood
water.
Stuff. Yeah.
I come from off the shore.
And then who else they got? They got
Coolio is their
Coolio.
big opening.
Yeah.
What? Coolio?
Has not changed his hair.
Yeah.
Still the same hair.
Suspended animation in the hair region.
I think he's got a tattoo on his head now.
Yeah.
So, Coolio, guys.
What did Coolio sing?
Gangster's Paradise.
Gangster's Paradise, that's right.
He had
Really?
beef with Weird Al because he did Amish Paradise. But parody law, he couldn't do anything about it.
Second shout out on the podcast to the Amish. So,
Buy their butter, listen to their music.
the Amish don't believe in music, Daniel. It's the devil. Not really. I don't know. There'd be some fun facts right there.
Amish
facts.
music? Modest Yahoo looks
I think a lot
Amish.
of polka, right?
They could probably be in the polka. Yeah, sure, why not? They're white.
Is that a requisite for being Amish? You have to be white?
No, it's a requisite for listening to polka, though. Although, yeah, everybody who's Amish is not any other color but white.
We're going to go to Listverse here, listverse.com, to check out some 10 things you probably didn't know about the Amish.
Okay.
And,
Rumspringa.
bless you, what?
That's their Amish holiday thing. It's not a holiday. Whenever you turn a certain age, you get a break from being Amish for like a week, and you get to party and fuck, and then you decide if you want to leave the Amish life or not.
Is that where they came up with the idea
TV
for
show?
the television show or something?
Breaking
TLC
Amish?
probably came up with
Corrupted
the idea
some-
for all their stuff with no
Cultural
intelligence or cultural background on any of these people.
Zero research.
I don't know.
guys are
Fat
Amish?
lady with a kid.
Reoccurring theme there. One fact,
Find some short people. Follow them around.
We'll just milk that cow way past it being dead.
they're just sitting around in their office for like an hour before one of them goes, man, you ever wonder just like what midgets are doing right now?
These short people have a farm. These short people adopt babies. These short people had a normal kid, how did they have kids? Did she...
Genetics.
Yeah, she had a baby out of her
body. Tummy? Uterus?
Uterus, yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And it didn't kill her? That's amazing.
No, I mean,
because
it's
no
different.
matter what,
it's
they
based
always, the babies would probably start off. I don't know. That is, I guess.
Yeah. I think they're all pretty small, but certain people with certain little people can't have children because of how it would affect
I just
their
couldn't
body.
see
But
their
certain people can.
bone structure being able to support it. But I guess
There's a will, there's a way.
Happens.
And then their other cornerstone for TV is people who fucking have a lot of children.
18 kids and counting? No, they're up to like 20-something kids, aren't they?
Yeah, and then John and Kate plus 8, those fuckers.
Oh, yeah.
Great name, though. Great name on the show.
America loves rhyming.
Yeah, it sells.
Such simple creatures we are.
That's why. This is why I'm watching Mad Men.
Mad Men,
so I can
right?
Figure out the crazy stuff we're doing.
That's why I try to
marketing.
Alliteration in the title. It's going to be a good one.
Beautiful.
I'm going to write a comic book. I'm not going to tell you the name so nobody will steal it.
But it's going to have alliteration.
But it's alliteration.
It's going to rhyme.
No, it's alliteration. So if anyone can draw that for me, holler at me.
Breaking Bad. There you go.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It's 2 AMC shows.
Is everyone trying to think of more?
Yes.
Yeah,
of course.
I can't think
of any.
So the Amish, they do this thing called bundling, which is a rather odd practice of a young courting couple being bound in 2 separate blankets and laid together on a bed for intimacy that does not involve sexual contact. The practice has died out in most of the world, but in the Pennsylvania Amish communities, it is still to be found. In some cases, in the past, the girl was tied into a sack and her potential husband would lie in bed with her. In modern times, it is also not uncommon to see a bundling bed, a bed that has a board right down the middle to prevent touching.
All right.
The Amish believe in living a life separated from the non-Amish. They quote the Bible to justify this belief, but not unequally yoked with unbelievers. For what we do, righteousness and wickedness have in common, blah, blah, blah. Handmade community. Graves are dug by hand because the Amish believe that modern technology is a hindrance to family life. As a revolt, they shun electricity and machinery. In some cases, however, electricity is permitted to warm homes. Cheating. Not interested anymore. Clothing. Belts, gloves, ties, sneakers. Can't have those. The Amish have a very simplistic dress style in keeping their overall life philosophy.
Why can't they have belts?
Yeah.
Because, man, it's a philosophy. Their clothes are handmade and are usually of a dark fabric. That way you don't have to wash a bunch of things. You just have...
Sounds like
they're dirty
bunch of goddamn Lumineers fans. I like Lumineers.
A bunch of palm-muted guitars and tambourines. And
Stomping. Hey, I played the stomp.
yo!
I play the stomp gooderly than him.
This is making me think of The Village, the movie, M. Night Shyamalan. Suborders. Not all Amish are the same. As in most Protestant religions, there are divisions within the group, each following their own variations on the rules. For the reasons for these divisions are, as usual, over matters of doctrinal disagreement. Give me something more interesting. How about that? Beard cutting attacks.
What?
Because men just grow their beards unrestricted and women their hair, it makes those two things prime targets for violence within or amongst differing Amish communities. Uh-oh. The attacks involve cutting off the hair of of the person to be punished. This is not a lawful form of punishment in the Amish, and even though the person being punished may not be guilty of anything in the eyes of their community, the loss of hair causes great shame and shunning. It's like kind of like samurais and stuff like that. You know, if they get their hair cut off in some communities, it's like a sign of dishonor. You know,
the Dothraki, every time they lose a battle, they have to cut their hair.
Really?
Mm-hmm. The Game of Thrones thing too.
Okay, I was like, what culture? I was like trying to go through my history knowledge here.
Well, they have a horse-based culture, and that's about it that I know.
In Game of Thrones, is it what universe do they exist in? Is it Earth?
It's its own. It's not Earth. It's Earth-ish.
So outside of their...
It's kind of like The
Hobbit.
The Hobbit takes place in, what's that called? Middle Earth.
Yeah.
They have their own planet.
Oh.
Yeah. I know, like, the main area is called Westeros, but then they have, like, a bunch of
So
other
they
things.
have this whole area that's explained in the series.
Yeah, there's maps and shit.
But is there more to it than just that? Like, that's it.
I mean, that I know of. I mean, technically, there could be other continents that they're not writing about, but they go across like seas and stuff to other. Like, if you look at the map, it's a pretty big map, and there are other continents with their own cultures, but there could be more than that they're not writing about. Mm-hmm. To my knowledge, I mean, I've only watched the show. I've never read any of the books. Read half of one book, and I stopped.
Of course.
It's a good book. I liked it. I stopped reading it. That's how dedicated I am to not reading books.
I've got
I can't remember the last book I read.
inbreeding is an Amish problem because the Amish and I'm just reading the facts here. I'm not hating on Amish. Your butter's great. The Amish descended from the families of 200 founders from the 18th century. They have a much higher rate of genetic disorders due to inbreeding, such as, quote, maple syrup urine disease.
I've heard about that one. That is a good disease. There are like no downsides to maple syrup urine disease. You want to know the symptom? Your urine smells like maple syrup.
Is it because you drink too much maple syrup?
No, apparently it's because your parents are sisters and brothers and they fuck each other.
Seriously?
I said it's from inbreeding.
Oh my gosh.
I did like a project on it or something. I was like, what? There's just one symptom and no downside. Why don't we give everyone this?
See, I thought you were making all this up.
Nah, dude. I told you I base all my shit on science and facts and history.
Maple syrup urine.
Urine disease. MSUD.
They also have a high infant mortality rate, but this does not faze them. These disorders and childhood deaths are seen by the Amish as God's wille, God's will. They refuse to undertake any form of genetic testing prior to marriage, which would ensure that they were sufficiently unrelated to their potential spouse. So they don't investigate that. Is what this is saying. They're like, hey, I like you, you know.
So you also have to marry Amish, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
I think you can, well, to stay Amish, yeah. I don't think they're too cool with outsiders.
The Amish have lower rates of cancer.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. Probably because they don't drink near as much alcohol or tobacco. Their suicide rates are far lower than the rate of non-religious people and 50% lower than any other religious people. And then, like you said, Rumspringa. It's Rumspringa or the Amish get out of jail free card.
Is it a month or a
adolescents.
week? I think it's a month. I want to say it's a while.
At what age?
It doesn't say.
When you're like a teenager.
Yeah.
Maybe like 16 to 18.
Yeah.
I have to pee really bad. Where's the bathroom I can pee in? That?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, that's Jeff's room.
Just investigate that direction. Okay. There's this thing called Madung, which is called shunning. It's the Amish form of excommunication. It is usually inflicted for the breaches of the Orndong or for other crimes such as marrying outside the faith. When an individual is shunned, they are expelled from the community and all ties are cut. This means that a shunned member cannot have any contact at all with the other members of the group, including his immediate family or friends. Needless to say, this is the most serious punishment available to the Amish. Midang lasts until death unless one repents one's crimes before the community. So now you know the Amish.
Learned a lot about the Amish.
Yeah.
Was not expecting that.
Where are the Amish documentaries? Shouldn't those be around?
I'm sure there's got to be one. I guess Breaking Amish kind of serves as one. So, what other stuff does Coastal Noise podcast have lined up? Got Crest Live next week.
Mm-hmm.
Anything with Lazy Magnolia in the works?
Haven't done anything in that regards. We have a new YouTube page and a new Facebook page. So I've been kind of working on that stuff. I haven't really been looking past anything by Crest Live. I've got a few people that may have potential to come on in the future. Open doors, communications in the work, but just kind of going with the flow, you know? That's how we do it. That's how we do it on the show.
If you're real interesting or will pay for us to go interview somewhere that's interesting, then get at us on our Facebook page.
Right on. Hell yeah.
Just want some free trips, guys.
In the name of science.
More fun when we're drinking. We'll hang out with you after. Also, if you could pay for the drinks. If you buy my drinks, I won't even eat anything the whole trip. Just keep drinking.
Well, that's our show, people. Next year, bigger, better things.
Good night and good luck.
Coming steady at you from Coastal Noise.
Welcome to this happy place. Welcome. That was Walt Disney.
That's all. That's all we have. That's all there is. That's all you need. Sayonara.